All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on one of the most important and maybe most misunderstood roles in any business, the marketing manager. Trust me, it's a whole lot more than you probably think. So let's get right to it. What does a marketing manager actually do? I mean, is it just about dreaming up cool ads or posting on TikTok and Instagram? Well, yeah, that can be part of it, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. The real story? It's way more strategic, way more complex, and absolutely vital to a company's survival. Okay, so to really get our heads around this job, we're going to look at it like this. A marketing manager has to wear four totally different hats. We'll kick things off with a basic definition. Get on the same page. Then we'll dive into each hat one by one. The strategic architect, the campaign conductor, the brand guardian, and the data scientist. And stick around because at the end, you'll see how juggling all of this makes them, well, the ultimate business athlete. All right, first things first, let's lay the groundwork. At its absolute core, this role is all about being a bridge, a super important one. They are the connection, the translator between the company and its customers. So here's the official textbook definition. But let's break it down. See those two key phrases, strategic direction and tactical execution? That's the whole game right there. It means they're not just the person with the big pie-in-the-sky ideas, and they're not just the person doing the day-to-day tasks. They have to be both. They're drawing up the blueprint, and then they're out there laying the bricks, all with one goal in mind, helping the company grow. Okay, let's put on that first hat. This is the strategic architect. Think of this as the 30,000-foot view. This is all about the master plan. Before a single dollar is spent or a single ad is made, the architect is in the back room drawing up the entire strategy for success. And this blueprint is huge. It's not just a simple sketch. The architect has to be a detective, digging deep into market research. Who are our customers? What do our competitors do? They also have to be a visionary, laying out the entire marketing plan for the year. And they've got to be a bit of a chess master, figuring out exactly where the product fits in the market and how to price it just right to win. Now, a huge piece of this strategic puzzle is something called the value proposition. And really, it's just a clear, simple answer to the question every customer is asking. So what? Why should I buy this from you and not from somebody else? A really great marketing manager, they are absolutely obsessed with nailing this. All right, blueprint's done. The plan is set. Now it's time to swap hats. The architect steps aside, and the campaign conductor takes the stage. This is where we turn all that planning into actual real-world stuff. This is really where the rubber meets the road. I mean, you can have the most brilliant strategy in the world, but if you can't execute it, it's worthless. The manager here is like the conductor of an orchestra. They have all these different instruments, social media, ads, email, and their job is to make sure everyone is playing in tune at the right time to create one beautiful piece of music, or in this case, a successful campaign. And what's in their toolkit? Well, it's the classic marketing mix. You probably heard of it, the 4 Ps. Let's stick with that coffee brand example. First, you need a great product, the coffee itself. Then, the right price. You don't want to be too cheap or too pricey. Next, the right place. Where do people actually buy it? And finally, the right promotion. How are you going to get the word out? The tricky part is, if you mess up just one of these, the whole thing can fall flat. And that orchestra I mentioned, it is huge these days. A modern marketing manager is juggling so much. We're talking digital ads, SEO and pay-per-click. We're talking all the social media channels, email campaigns, maybe even old school traditional ads. Plus, they're running events, webinars, and even creating materials to help the sales team. That's what we call sales enablement. It is a massive, massive juggling act, for sure. So while they're running around conducting all this activity, they have to put on a third hat. This one is the brand guardian. And this role is all about defense. It's about protecting the company's two most valuable assets, its brand and its money. So, being a guardian means two big things. First, brand consistency. They make sure every tweet, every ad, every email looks and sounds like it's coming from the same company. Second, budget management. They are responsible for every single dollar spent on marketing, and their job is to squeeze the absolute most value out of that budget. And how do you measure that? With one of the most important acronyms in business, ROI, return on investment. For the brand guardian, this is everything. They are constantly asking themselves, okay, for every dollar we put into this campaign, How many dollars are we getting back? This question is what turns marketing from just a creative department that spends money into a real measurable engine for the business. And that intense focus on ROI and proving value, that's really what's caused the biggest change in this job over the past decade. Which brings us to our fourth and final hat, the data scientist. Yeah, it's not enough to just have a good feeling about an ad anymore. That's not going to cut it. Today's marketing manager has to be deeply analytical. We're talking spreadsheets, data dashboards. This is their world now. They use cold, hard data to make decisions, to figure out what's working and what's not, and to prove without a doubt that what they're doing is actually making the company money. And they are obsessed with their KPIs. That stands for key performance indicators. These are the numbers that tell them if they're winning or losing. They're watching things like website traffic to see how many people they're reaching, lead generation to see how many are interested, and of course, conversion rates, which tells them how many of those people actually became customers. But wearing the data scientist hat isn't just about staring at charts. It's about taking action. They use that data to constantly tweak and improve campaigns through things like A/B testing, where you test two versions of an ad to see which one works better. And of course, they have to be able to package up all those results and report them to the leadership team and work with other departments like sales and product. It's a very collaborative role. This quote really just nails it. It brings everything together. A strategic thinker, a creative leader, and a data analyst all rolled into one. You can't just be one of these things anymore. You have to be all three. And that's exactly why we call them the ultimate business athlete. Think about it. They need the long-term vision of an architect, the split-second timing of a conductor, the careful discipline of a guardian, and the sharp analytical mind of a data scientist. It's an incredible combination of skills. So if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. The marketing manager is not just a support role. They are a core driver of growth for the entire company. By wearing all four of these hats and wearing them well, they have a direct, measurable impact on how much money the company makes, what people think of the brand, and where it stands in the marketplace. And that brings us to one last, really interesting question to chew on. In a world where AI is getting better and better at handling the data and the day-to-day tasks, which of these four hats becomes the most important one for a human to wear? Is it the architect, the conductor, the guardian, or the scientist? Something to think about for sure.